Thursday, and you know what that means. Doing? This is Theory Thursday. I'm MikeRuggirello, your host, and Jason Thomas, my co-host.
Hi everybody, thanks for watching. I also want to remind you guys to make your comments in the comments section. Let us know how you're doing, where you're from, and also if you have any questions for the guys, I will relay them to you via this wonderful technology we have in front of us.
That's right, and here I am, MikeRuggirello, again with a better mic feed. So, Theory Thursday is in collaboration with Singular Sound. And our guest today is very, very special, and we are deeply honored to have the magnificent Jeff Snider. He is known for a lot of things, and we're going to do a lot of jamming and a lot of shredding, and there is a scale of the day. But Jeff is here because we've known him growing up here in San Diego and a lot of other, more importantly, he's known for building amplifiers, and he's been modifying equipment like wah pedals. He plays guitar a lot every day, like Jason and myself. And thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, dude. We've been looking forward to it. It's a very highly anticipated show. So we have a lot of
me too.
Very cool, Jeff. I've noticed these interesting guitar you have here.
It's a James Tyler Variax. This is one of the American-made models, and so it's a traditional electric guitar, but it also has this data wheel. You turn it on and you can get samples of whatever, everything from an acoustic guitar to an arch top to a... So I can go from that kind of thing to... And with alternate tunings, like if the singer's a little hurting that night, we need to be a half step down, all I got to do is flip a switch, and I can still play the open stuff in a half step or a whole step down. So it's quite a tool, quite a work tool.
We're plugged into the Line 6 Helix. We get a little shot of this.
Yeah, the Line 6 Helix is a new device that employs technology that's been available to keyboard players for decades, whereby I can sample amps that I like and load them into the unit and then call them up when I wish. And also the Helix talks to the guitar through cable that you'd typically use to plug in your computer and your modem. This is a Cat5 cable, and so I get both analog, just electric guitar functions, as well as all the sampled functions, and just program them into my patches or call them up on the guitar. So it's pretty versatile tool.
Looks and sounds very versatile. Now, guys, Jeff Snider traditionally is known for you know, ripping with Strats and ES models, and he also, like I said, he has developed an amplifier. There's about 100 of them out there floating, like the Dumbles and the Trainwrecks. He has 2 models, and just to let you know, if you're like, wow, that's interesting, why is he playing a Variax and a Helix? Well, because the guy's a pro, and he's looking to get into rooms with ease, with sound guys, because there's a lot of stipulations. And that being said, the Snider California and the Snider Chicago, they're out there floating. You can get some really cool information on that for you boutique snobby amp guys. In fact, one of the sounds that you have in here is his Snider amplifier sound. Let's hear it.
Yep, this is one of my combo amps that a local guy that owns a Helix that also owns a Snider amp did. It's a single 12 combo. Yeah.
Let's see what you got going on. You said there was like a Martin in there, like when you want to play your acoustic
Yep,
stuff?
acoustic guitar. This was a actually this is a this is a big 1958 Martin D28. I think this was one of the ones that came stock in the guitar.
Can you guys believe how that sounds?
Or for doing songs like this.
Yes. C sharp?
C minor.
C minor?
Yeah.
Sounds great, man.
Yeah,
very,
so
very cool.
it's quite a versatile guitar. I can get a banjo, variety of acoustic guitars, electric guitar sounds, alternate tunings, and do it all with just this and this.
Well, you know, there's a lot of things that we want to talk to you about, but we are going to do mostly a lot of jamming because we want to know how you are doing, guys. This is Jeff Snider. I'm MikeRuggirello. Write us some questions. In fact, where are you tuning in from? We love, here at Theory Thursday, we love to know where you're coming from. Is it San Diego? Is it Istanbul? Russia? Let us know. Just say, hey, we're chiming in from, and I did know, I want a little shout out to a couple people back east. When you guys write that you're from that state, we like that. I had no idea we had friends in Delaware. Thank you guys. So, Jeff, geez, when it comes to session work or modifying a wah pedal, God, I just can't decide what to ask you first, man. Give me a good guitar lick, something. Play something for me. Yes. Now, as he's meandering through these shapes, it's basically pentatonic and blues. So the scale of the day, guys, Jeff and I, we're gonna viciously attempt our blues scale. In A, there's your 1 octave. Jeff, let's hear some A blues. Beautiful. Let's say hi to Jeff. This is our drummer. And I'm going to go ahead and, you know, I'm sure, are you acquainted with Beat Buddy? This is Jeff as well.
I am now. It sounds great.
Do you like it? Yeah.
Very much.
Last night, you know, you can hook this device up to, if you have the bigger model, you can hook it up to your computer, and they just came out with the Soundgarden drum beats, and I downloaded that.
Nice.
They're very cool. And along with that was the John Bonham drum set, so you can actually hear these beats and put on the John Bonham tone. Just for you guys to hear the difference, check it out. We're at Rock 2, 126 BPM. That's what started our jam. I'm going to go ahead and put it back to the standard drum set. So if you will, jam along with Jeff. So here's Jeff with the standard drum beat. Sounds killer. I'm gonna go ahead and keep jamming, boys. So I just put in the John Bonham drum beat. It's pretty different sounding. What do you think?
Yeah.
Bass drums roaring. What do you think, Jason?
I like it.
It's cool, right?
That sounds a lot deeper.
So, you know, I found it interesting when these things come out, you know, whether it be the Helix, I imagine that this device needs updates.
It does.
And
They're annoying.
They're annoying.
You got to update your firmware.
So
There's
a lot
almost
different.
always a glitch. You do an update and then everything seems fine, and the glitches never appear until you're on the gig and you go to give it a command and something else happens. So they're interesting. Yes.
Get rid of this gum here. You know, you got to appreciate the irony. You know, someone as prolific as yourself that knows how to rip apart an amplifier, plexis, fenders, you name it. This guy rebuilds them and mods them, and then again. You've also mentioned that you like Vox Wah pedals. Those are the best and easiest to modify.
Of the current production wah pedals, I prefer the Voxes because the jack input and output jacks are not mounted to the circuit board. The circuit board is separate, so it makes them much easier to work on, number one. And number two, if you accidentally, which of course you can imagine the pedal sitting on the ground, the cords are plugged into it, you step accidentally on the cord, and the ones that have the jacks mounted to the circuit board, you break the circuit board. The ones that are freestanding with wires coming to them, if you break the jack, you merely replace the jack, but it's not a matter of doing complete surgery. So
From a technical
standpoint, they're much more durable and much more straightforward to work on. So I prefer the modern crop of crybabies. I prefer the Vox because they most closely approximate the original scheme when they were all hand wired.
And a segue into the Helix again. When you said that there's about 10 different choice of wah pedals in here.
Yes,
and when in the beginning in our intro you stood up and you were laying it down.
Yes.
What wah were you using?
So let me find out. On this patch, I'm using this is just simply called Wah Throaty. There are a whole bunch of them.
Oh yeah.
B flat and F. But they have the color sound wahs in here. They're about 10 or so different wahs, and then you can adjust the parameters as well. So they did a really good job.
Was that
Just B flat and F.
I was trying to find more of a
swing.
Yeah, like the swing blues.
Yep.
You know, we'll go over to that. We're gonna go to the blues little area, like little 3. This is blues 3, 6, 8. I'm gonna go ahead and put that John Bonham set on. Let's see what this sounds like, Jeff. Maybe a little faster, huh?
He's fucking pretty good. A little slow.
Oh yeah, adapt to it. Camera's saying scale of the day. After you, my friend. Yeah, baby. Give me a little bit more of that all by yourself. That was great. I know. So B flat blues, guys. Pay attention to this vibrato, the way he is playing. You know, you got your simple scale, right?
Yep.
And you are just shaking it down, I mean, we're in a different position. Let's talk to you guys real quick. B flat's right here on your first fret. Right now, with that being said, watch Jeff play. Jeff, That's great. Give everybody a lesson on your take on this vibrato. Remember, scale of the day, blues scale. We usually are bending to the 1 and the 5.
Right.
And give me some explanation here.
I was 12 years old in 7th grade social studies class. My teacher brought in a movie on American culture, and part of it was B.B. King, and I'd never seen him play. You gotta remember, this was before the internet, this was before videotapes, this was before anything. And I saw B.B. playing and doing this with his hand. He used these 3 fingers as weights.
Everyone do that.
He rotated his wrist like a pendulum, and it swung back and forth.
That's the move of the day, guys. This. Look at that.
So I sat in class and did this, and the teacher singled me out and said, "Snider, what are you doing?" And I said, "I'm practicing what I just saw B.B. King do." And he kind of gave me a look, but knew I was a guitar player, and he let it go. And I immediately went home and picked up my guitar. And at first it was, the motion was unnatural. It was jaggedy and nervous sounding. And then after a while, mostly doing it without the guitar is what got it nice and smooth.
Jason, I want to see you do
without. Yep, that's it. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
You use your fingers
Don't wave
as
hi to
weights.
me.
I'm waving hi.
It's like,
Yes.
Hi.
It's, you know what this kind of reminds me of? What's that dance called where you put the cigarette out and you're drying off with the towel?
Oh, the twist.
The twist.
Yeah, yeah.
This is learning the twist
Like the twist.
for guitar players in your vibrato. Okay,
Yep.
dude. I don't know if it sounds cooler or looks cooler.
Right. And then doing it with your 3rd finger, your 4th finger is different. This is finger muscle. This was more like I saw Eric Clapton. Again, very early on, I saw an early thing of Eric Clapton, and he was doing it like that. But BB was the big thing for me. Was doing that with your hand, fingers and wrist.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Rad. Actually, I'm gonna try not to use the word awesome. Bring it back to the 80s. Rad. It's 1 syllable.
Yeah.
Well, awesome's 2. It doesn't matter. So, how long have you been playing, Jeff? I don't want to date you. I mean,
I'm 50. I'll be 57 in a week. I started strumming my dad's tennis rackets while still in diapers. I was maybe a year and a half old. My folks have pictures. My dad would have to negotiate his racket away from me to go play tennis with it. And then they agreed that when I was 6, on my 6th birthday, I could have an actual guitar lesson and a real guitar. And so that was my first guitar teacher was in La Mesa. His name was Philip Montanani. He was, to this day, the very best guitar teacher I ever had because he knew how to inspire. He would show me things that I wanted to play, and he would also let me play his ES-175 if I'd practiced my lesson that week. He was such a cool guy. I would meet him again in the 1980s at Guitar Trader. He came in, and one of the guys knew him and knew that he was who was my first teacher, and said, "Jeff, this is Phil Montanani," and I got to say hello and thank him, which was really cool.
that is really cool. What is he up to these days?
I have no idea.
Okay.
He was no longer teaching guitar. When I spoke to him, he was happy that I had gleaned so much inspiration from his lessons. Didn't remember me, but was a very nice guy and pleased to get reacquainted.
Fantastic.
And I would quit lessons at 9 because we moved to the University City area, and the teachers that I had were old guys that were wanting me to work out of the Mel Bay book, learning songs like Claire de Lune and Camp Down Races, and I wanted to puke.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't. So I quit and then started just with a record player, and it went from there.
Yeah.
Well, something's entering my mind. All of us here a long time ago in San Diego, there was a car dealership commercial, and I wanted to shed some light on it. It's a car dealership called Massey Nissan, and some of us that live here in San Diego, we all remember that very catchy jingle. Mr. Snider here had a lot to do with that. Can you talk about? Actually, can you
Sure.
play the riff real quick?
Yeah. And they wanted a lead, just like they play a lead. It wasn't written, so I played. And they still play that commercial today.
love it!
I still hear it
Oh
on
my
TV and I
God.
hear it on the radio.
It gets stuck in your head.
It gets stuck in your head. And the first time I heard it, I was driving home on the 15. This was back in the 80s, and the voiceover guy actually made mention of the guitar. He said, "We've got a new commercial. We've got a lot of new stuff at Massey Nissan, and this is my favorite part, the guitar lick." And it went silent, and you heard. Now, I'd done a lot of jingles up at that point, and nobody had ever mentioned my
I wanna-
brought attention to my
how's it-
guitars. I about fell over. I literally almost ran off the road. It was like,
I'm gonna
wow.
try something interesting here. I'm gonna put on a new blues beat. We're at Blues 6. It's a 6/8 shuffle. Okay. I don't imagine what would the riff adapt the riff to this. B minor. So that's
E minor too.
So instead of the blues scale, we're going to reduce it to the minor
Down
pensa.
a whole step. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Can you loop that? Or let me just try to play it. Keep going. Okay.
Yep. That's the whole thing.
You take a lead. It's so rad. Theory Thursday. Theory Thursday moves you. Theory Thursday. Everyone. Theory Thursday.
Michael McDonald.
Theory Thursday.
And that was written by Kirk Arnold and recorded at his studio, Powerhouse Studio, back in the 80s, and Leonard Tucker sang it. And I still see those guys and talk with them every now and again today.
Remember I was talking to you about there's going to be some impromptu things happening? Now,
So that would be there we go.
that
silly
was not
things.
scripted,
No.
everybody. So I want to take a moment and say what's up to you guys. Guys, what do you think? Do you have any questions for Jeff? Do you guys have any questions about ground loops, like when you set up a gig? Why is my PA so noisy? We learned a fantastic fact about that. Do you want to know something about guitar, vibrato, blues scales? We can just say, hey, play the first or play the second inversion of the blues scale. We got it coming right up, baby. It's right here. Here's your A blues scale. Yeah, give me an A blues scale. Beautiful. Now that's a nice lick. You're basically infusing some the major third, getting into that. Show me that lick.
yeah.
Beautiful. So that was strict blues. There was no major third in that lick.
No.
The major thirds are very cool. That's what Stevie Ray Vaughan made a whole career in. But keeping it fun, keeping it light. You guys having fun? We're having so much fun here. Jeff, how you doing?
Great.
Jason, how are you?
Good, man.
Your hand okay?
Yeah.
Cool. So, what are people saying, Jason?
Everyone's just chiming in. I don't really much questions happening.
No
so
questions? That's okay.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just-
we'll keep it going. We'll keep you engaged. Do you have any thoughts about the B blues scale?
B. That's a cool thing about guitar. Whatever key you're in, you merely move to that fret and the patterns fit.
Yeah, you're right.
Which is so nice. It's a lot more difficult for us though, because our motion is both horizontal as well as vertical, which is why sax players are capable of playing so much more interesting lines than we are effortlessly, because everything's vertical. They don't have and it's also the two-hand thing. Both hands aren't needing to move to play a note. They blow and their fingers do. So I stopped listening to guitar licks and started listening to horn licks a long time ago. They're much harder to play because it's so different on guitar and it's so easy, much easier on
Let's
sax.
hear some.
They don't move in scales. They just move around a lot more. They bounce around more because they have their instrument, their particular instrument, the way you finger it and the way you play it is much less confining than ours. So I'd sit down with sax players that I was playing with after we do, and I'd ask them to slow down, play that for me again, and then I'd try and find it on my guitar.
Cool.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to add something, a little information. You know, as you watch and hear something like that, it's astonishing. It's not only intimidating and quite dazzling to be right next to him hearing this, but I can actually give you a couple secrets. Now we have the scale, okay? Now feel free to keep blasting away because I'm going to explain something to the crowd here. We have a simple hexatonic scale, okay? Now if you do that right here in B and do it again here, a half step down, and then right here again in A, okay? Jeff is doing a few things that I like to call filling up the scale. So while Jeff is outlining our blues scale, filling up the scale would be adding chromatics inside your parameters. And Jeff was doing a myriad of interesting collages of doing here, meeting the flat scale, and then all the way going to A. So it really has this centrifugal carnival, like, whoa, he's playing outside. Do a little bit more, please. Oh boy. Pavo, if you're out there watching, I know you hear the Scott Henderson in this. Man, that was just greasy and saucy. Saucy's a good word for this stuff, guys. Yes. Yes, man, so cool. So I hope that was informative. That's like a cheat sheet. And when Jeff's talking about playing, like, listening to horn lines, there's also another trapdoor called leading tones. Let's hear some, yes, just show it, give them. And that's simply just sliding into your target tone. Yeah, good, 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 exactly. So if we have our scale, just sliding and... Let's give it some. Oh boy, here we go. E. Give us some. What was that? Do that again. That was cool. So, do you have an explanation for that lick?
Yes, it's whole tone. It's straight whole tone. And basically whole tone means that every note is connected to the previous note by a series of whole tones. There's no break, there's no half step. So there are a number of whole tone patterns that are friendly to guitar that you can play, and so it tends to work really well if you're playing something, and when you go to the 5 chord, you implement that whole tone thing and then resolve because it creates tension because it's out.
So starting on the B, I want to go.
That would work, yeah. And then if you're in the key of E, then you would play that B whole tone and then resolve back into the key of E again. So you create tension and then you release it.
See, I'm so happy he said that. I've been applying the whole tone scale this whole time by starting. Like
the tonic?
Yes, starting on the tonic.
Yeah.
And
yeah, because it fits like so if let's say we're playing in the key of A and E is the 5 chord. Well, you've already got got that. That's all whole tone stuff, and it all fits when you're playing that 5 and coming back around to the 1, which often in any style of Western music, you're going to use the 5th as the turnaround, and the 5 is going to return to the 1, and so you can interject that in there. And what it does emotionally is it creates tension, and then when you
my teeth are gritting just listening about it.
And then when you resolve it, it's kind of happy.
Let's get some more of it. We got Jeff Snider playing the whole tone scale, mixing it with our E blues. are such cool outside licks, man. It's like outside but inside. Yeah, go for it. So the scale of the day has transformed into the whole tone scale. It's a little bit of a bonus extension if you're trying to sound like a fusion guy. Beautiful. We are almost done here, Jeff. Jeff Snider, everybody. I am so honored and so happy to be sitting next to this guy playing guitar. I already feel like a better musician just being around you, dude. I know it sounds like a bunch of...
No, man, this is really fun.
Yeah.
This was and it went by so fast.
It did go by. It's
we
because...
just started.
Well, I mean, think about... If there was a note counter on this show, I think we hit about maybe 34,000.
We hit enough. We hit our quota. We did.
Jeff, you are spectacular. You're super cool. I was expecting a few more jokes, but next time. Guys, we're going to tie this up here. And before we do, I want to ask you guys for a little help. Help us streamline the show. Do you have any suggestions? Because, you know, all of us here at Theory Thursday, we put a lot of time and effort into making a streamlined, smooth experience. How much information, how much fun can we have in a half hour? So if you have some thoughts or some... you know, anything about our show, write it in the comments. And before we go, Jeff, plug some gigs, man. Let us know where you're playing.
I'm playing at Valley View with a very fun band, a big 10-piece horn band that I play with. We do Tower Power, Earth, Wind & Fire, Blood, Sweat and Tears, that kind of stuff. July 2nd and July 4th, both nice and early from 5 until 9. And then July 7th at the El Cajon Promenade Concert in the Park from 6 until 8.
Okay.
Big outdoor gig. I get to play really loud and crazy and play all kinds of fun whole tone.
Really? You get
I get to play so much with that band. Yeah, well, the Tower Power stuff had a lot of opening for guitar solos and that kind of stuff. So we do. I get, even though it's a horn band, I get plenty of airtime. Yeah. It's a really fun band.
I would love to check one out. I've seen a little bit of footage, and keep the footage coming. We
Yeah.
love footage live on Facebook. So, well, that's great, man. You know, again, kudos to the Helix rig by Line 6. We got the nice Variax model here. We got Snider himself, Jason Thomas, the co-host. I think you have a little news for us before we go.
Well, not so much news. You kind of covered it. Just let everybody know that we will be setting up a direct email account so you can, and we'll put that in our link to the show where you can send in your comments, and possibly when we start doing like a scale a day, maybe send us some of your videos of you guys doing your own scales. And
Yeah,
maybe we'll be able
that.
to put them on the show and kind of get you guys involved in it because it's your show as much as our show, and we want to keep this going. And again, I just want to say thanks to Jeff. It's been a pleasure having you here, and I hope we'll have you back soon, man.
Absolutely.
Great, great. Well, great. Well said, Jason. I'm MikeRuggirello, your host. We're going to go out with a jam. And you know what? Tune in next week. Next week we have Wayne Riker, and he is another special musician that we all know. And have a great week. Leave us some comments. And the scale of the day. Let's hear a little fuzz on that. Just the blues scale, right? Into whole tone, find the 5. And here we go. See you next week. What's the key? We'll follow you.
Want to do,
Anything.